All right, I am back because I wanted to show you a travel brochure. If you go to Google Classroom to this particular post, do you remember the one that had all the websites that you could have used? Grant, the one that had all the websites that you could use for your research. If you go here and then you look at the bottom and you click right here on Ancient African Travel Brochure, there is a page that gives you explicit directions about how to do this. It is on your Google Class stream. It tells you to take a piece of paper, 8 by 11 piece of paper, and a travel brochure will be a folded piece of paper. There are 6 surfaces on this piece of paper. Here's 1, here's 2 on the back, here's 3, when I open it up, here's 4 facing you, then you open it again, here's 5 and here's 6. The brochure, this right here, the directions tell you how they're numbered so that you know what goes where. With the back piece of your paper will be 5, 6, then 1. On the front it's 2, 3, and 4. And it tells you right here exactly what to put in each section. Now you fill that in with your own creative and your own content. You're allowed to do hand drawings if you want to draw your illustrations. You're allowed to type, print things off, cut them out, paste them on. You're allowed to fully and completely do it on the computer. It's not that hard. Whatever program you use, you can just search for templates, brochure templates. Google Docs has them. Microsoft Word has them. You can do a template of a brochure and it'll show you how to do it. You can also do the front and the back on 2 different pieces of paper and then just, glue it together, paste it together like this, and then fold it like that. So, the options are many. Any questions about the brochure part of this or how to find the directions? No? All right, you do have another option besides a brochure. You're allowed to do a travel video, like you're a travel agent, and you hit the same 6 things. If you want to do that, please be thoughtful about how you're going to send me the video because I'm playing it in class on Monday. The video needs to be sent to me on something that's web-based, which means you can upload it to YouTube. That's great. You all have a YouTube account. It's not hard to upload to YouTube, even if you do editing in something like iMovie. Do not email me a movie. Your email will crash. You cannot email a movie. Don't do it. I don't want you to zip it and email it to me. I do not want to unzip your video. I do not want a flash drive. I want it on something that's web-based. If you're not comfortable with YouTube, that's fine. Put it on your Google Drive and use the share function to share it with me, just like you would for a Google document. It's the same thing. If you're doing this on a phone, an iPad, or anything like that, if you're shooting a video from anything like that, the best and the easiest thing to do is to have the app on your phone. So if you are shooting any kind of video on your phone, let's say if it doesn't need to be edited, and you just want to take it from a phone to something else, have the YouTube app, have the Google Drive app, have an app. Take it to an app and then send it from there. It will be vastly easier than any other alternative. Any questions about the text side of this? Okay. All right, I'm going to go on from the homework unless anyone has questions about this. You can also email me. You can get in touch with me anyway, except don't just put random thoughts on the Google Class stream because I don't get your notifications unless you respond to my post. So make sure you ask a question in a way that I see your question. All right, this is the last time in February that we're meeting together, and I'm seeing in this class some total of 3 of you who had me before. So you'll probably recognize this. 4 of you, I think. My favorite way, is it 5? I think it's 5. My favorite way to end Black History Month is the same song I used last year. I use it every year. And I think you might know this song. Can you cut the lights, please? This is a poem that was written by a poet, James Weldon Johnson, in 1900. He and his brother were both poets. He wrote this hymn, basically, by hymn, Hymn, like a church song. He wrote a hymn in poetry form in 1900. Now, when did the Civil War end? What was the date? 1865. So this is after the Civil War. There's no slavery. Is everything in America free and equal? No. Is it Jim Crow laws, segregation laws? Not yet, actually, in 1900. They come a couple of decades later. So it's a weird in-between called Reconstruction, which ended up being a little bit of a disaster. And in the Reconstruction era, this is when James Weldon Johnson wrote this poem. It did not become a hit, though, until closer to like 1920, which was when there was the Jim Crow laws, the segregation laws were in place. And as much as something could go viral in 1920, that's what happened to this song. It spread around the country, and school children all over were singing this song. When I say school children, I mean the kids in the segregated schools. It became known as the Negro Anthem. It's now considered the Black National Anthem, and you may have heard it at the Super Bowl. Anyone? After the National Anthem was sung, then this song was also sung. It went through like a period where it wasn't particularly a big thing, and then it experienced a bit of a revival. I love this particular version. I know it's the same one I shared last year, but I love this version of the song. I love the harmonies. I think Kirk Franklin and his choir group do a great job with it, and I want to share this with you as our opening prayer thought.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky.
Let it
resound
resound.
loud as the rolling sea.
I like this part right here. Come on.
Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on.
Let us march on.
Till victory is won.
Now we add a little something to it. Just to encourage you. We're going to take it to church right here. Let's go.
We'll be marching right until the victory is won.
To all my brothers out there.
Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won.
To all my sisters in the struggle.
Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won.
Till that day.
Till that day
Hey.
let us march on
To victory.
till victory is won. Is won.
Yay. Amen. All right. So, by the way, I forgot to say this part. There are 3 verses to that song. That one only was just the first verse, and I love the later verses. I really wish I could find a version of it that does all 3 verses that dynamically. So look it up yourself. You'll like it. All right, we're going to go over the landforms map, and we're going to do it a little differently this time. Instead of using the map that's hard to see, we're going to use clearer maps, but you all are going to use your words to describe for me where things are. And when we do this, I want everyone to be ready to talk. I want you to think through it. Like, how would you put words to it? This is North America, that's South America. So speak loudly, use words. I clumped the things together a little differently. We're going to start with the ones that I think are the harder ones right here, this first group. And so I am going to ask Linda, can you pick one of these and tell us where it is? One of these five. No, just pick one. I'll help you with it. I'll coach you to it. All right, where would we find the Great Salt Lake? North or South America? In North America. All right, so is it East Coast or West Coast? West Coast. The Great Salt Lake. We actually talked in class about what state it was in. Do you happen to remember that? Wait, you don't have to, she can ask you if she wants your help. Yeah, it's in Utah. So is that going to be further up north near Alaska and Canada? Is that going to be more down near Mexico, or is it somewhere in the middle? Yes, somewhere in the middle and a little bit right here. That's where the Great Salt Lake is. Sadie, pick another one. Where are the Great Plains?
They're in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Are they like Midwest?
Yeah, you would just pretty much the whole Midwest is the Great Plains. Good job. All right, Benjamin. Pick one.
Oh, the top one?
From the top five.
Desert.
The Atacama Desert?
Yeah. That's in South America.
Okay. South America, East or West Coast?
West.
West Coast. Top, middle, bottom?
Like the middle.
Right in the middle. Good. The Atacama Desert's right around here, close to where this little notch is in South America. Another one. Ben.
Death Valley.
Where's Death Valley? North or South? North America.
And then like west side.
On the west side.
And then like bottom.
Closer to Mexico. And then just a little bit in, right?
Yeah, next to California.
Pretty close to this area. The last one is Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. Grant, we just had Death Valley right here. Where's the Grand Canyon? It is near. So if we have Death Valley, is it going to be further east or is it going to be on the coast? Not that close. It's close. It's on the other side of the Colorado River, so it's going to be a little bit more over. Okay. Let's look at the rivers now. Olivia, pick a river or body of water.
The Great Lakes.
Where are the Great Lakes?
Like where that body of water is in the middle of the United States.
Okay, it's in between the United States and Canada, and it's right here. We can actually see it. Good. Cambria, pick a body of water.
The Amazon River.
Where is the Amazon?
South America.
South America, where?
Like on the top.
Okay, and the top is what country? You guys can help us. What's the country? Brazil. Brazil. So the Amazon's right here in Brazil. Okay. Isabel, pick a river or body of water. Do that, Yukon or Mississippi? Which one? The Yukon River, where do I find that? North or South America?
North.
Yes, and in North America, where's the Yukon? It is near the west. Is it way down here or is it up here? It's in Alaska. Very good. Who did I miss? Layla, okay. Pick one.
I'll do Mississippi.
Okay.
And it's in North America and it's in Mississippi. So like
not just Mississippi. Mississippi is just a little state down here. So it's not only in Mississippi, but it runs through what? And it runs through the entire center of our country. Yeah, it runs like that. Okay, DJ, pick one. Pick
Called me
one.
already. The Rio Grande.
Where is the Rio Grande?
It's like the north. It's in the north.
Where is it in North America?
It's like at the bottom, kind of.
Okay, it's in
a
between.
pocket.
In between what two places? What's this country? Mexico. It's in between Mexico and a particular state in the U.S. It's a boundary river in between Mexico and
Don't need help, okay?
they're all whispering it at you. Right, Mexico and Texas. I'll ask a volunteer who wants. Oh, I'll let you pick, Benjamin.
So which ones haven't been done?
Colorado, St.
St.
Lawrence,
Lawrence.
and Parana. Where's the St. Lawrence?
So St. Lawrence is on the east, north between America, or no, in Canada.
In Canada. It's up here. It's above the Great Lakes. Cambria.
Zoe hasn't went.
Zoe,
Okay.
what would you like to do? Parana or
Wait a second.
what was the other one? Colorado or Parana?
I'll do the Colorado.
Where is it?
North America.
Correct. And
It's in Colorado. It's like,
not only Colorado, much bigger than that.
is it sort of in Maine?
Yeah, but only because it's on both sides of what? What's this thing that runs right here?
Is that like the Rockies?
Yeah, so it's on both sides of the Rockies. I think the last one is the Parana River. A volunteer, Ben.
It's like it's in South America.
Yeah.
On the east side and like lower middle, like kind of.
Yes, right about here. Excellent. All right, last ones. Let's do the mountains. The mountains. DJ, pick a mountains. Rocky, Appalachians, or Andes. Tell me where the mountains are. Pick one.
I'm going to say the Rockies.
Where are the Rockies?
They're in north.
Yes. East or west?
What? No. East.
Here,
west.
near where we live. Have you ever gone to the Rockies in your car? You ever hopped in the car and driven to the Rockies?
Yeah, probably.
No. You've hopped in the car and driven to the mountains right on the other side of Charlottesville, but those aren't the Rockies. So where are the Rockies?
I don't know.
East Coast or West Coast?
East, west.
They're West Coast. They're very tall. They're in the West Coast. All right, Linda,
Andes.
where are the Andes?
It goes down South America.
East or West Coast?
West.
Down the whole West Coast of South America, the Andes. And last but not least, on the mountains. Come on, these are the easy ones. Grant, where are the Appalachians?
You said near Charlottesville.
Yeah, they're the East Coast mountains that run all the way from Georgia up to Maine. A few more things. How would I find Baja California? Benjamin?
So it's connected to California, but it's part of Mexico.
Ooh, very good. It's a strange little tail coming off of California. How would I find the Yucatan Peninsula? Anyone? Yucatan Peninsula? Sadie? No? Zoe?
It's like in North America on the east side, like,
Oh, are you looking at Florida? This?
yeah.
No, but Florida is a peninsula. You're right about that. That is, and it's really interesting when we start talking about peninsulas. We're like, what about our peninsula called Florida? Yeah, Ben.
It's like got one like in Mexico and then it goes like up and like.
Yes, a little knob in Mexico. Bloop. That's the Yucatan. And last but not least, Patagonia. Patagonia. Somebody who hasn't said anything in a while. Olivia, do you know where it is?
Cambria hasn't.
Okay, Layla?
It's like South America, like more south-ish, like.
Yes. This whole section in the south is South America. And then we all know the continental divide because it runs right through the no, South America. The continental divide runs through the mountains. It goes all the way up the Andes, through Central America, up all the way through Alaska. That is your map. All right, good job, guys. I want you to do what's called a pair share, which means you can turn the lights back on. Which means I need DJ to move, and everybody else use your handouts that you annotated to answer these questions. You're talking to the person that you're sitting at the desk with. DJ, if you just want to answer me, you can. If you don't want to move and go sit with somebody else, you can get in here and help the girls. First question. This is coming from the introduction document. First question. And the people at home, you can do this either just find the answers on your own, or you can do it if you have a sister at home to work with. You can do it with that. First question. What were the differences between the Greek and the Egyptian or Mesopotamian gods, and why did it matter? Differences. You don't have very long to answer it. Answer it with your person. Just find the answers. It's on the document that you annotated. Tell him. Tell the person you're sitting with the answer.
And then the Egyptians had like Itho.
DJ, sit down and get in the conversation.
But then they have like a cat.
It should be on the front of the intro document.
Why does this matter? This matters because they
What were the differences? And why do they matter?
made the Greeks. They had something. I read this 2 times.
All right, second question. Why were human beings, the humanness of human beings, so valued by the Greeks? Still on the intro document. Try to answer it quickly with each other. Why was humanness valued?
Human gods.
They had to worship some things.
Yeah.
Third question. How is the comedy that we find in Greek mythology just so typical to the Greeks? This is on the back of the introduction page. It's on the top of the back of that page. Why is the comedy that we see in the mythology so typical to the Greeks?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They probably had like their own like.
But that's but the same
Everybody
time
loves
that's
you.
so
Everyone's
I mean it is no so because Greek mythology, because the Greeks are so known, it's so typically Greeks, they've got their own like religion, not religion, but like myth. Yeah. And that doesn't.
Aren't they sisters?
I feel like it's myth.
Fourth question. How is Greek mythology different from the Christian Bible?
Hey, stop copying us.
Wait, he's saying that word.
Exactly. Stop copying us.
They didn't put much effort.
Oh yeah, you could. Like Zeus was not all powerful. He could be a
Yeah,
There was
Wives,
like an all
husbands,
powerful.
yeah.
Those are all
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I mean, that was
They just
fun.
make up
They
something
weren't
to
like,
make them happy.
like the aliens and stuff. But like actually,
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
they just do anything. Like God can like say stop. Like you just like
yeah, this is the
When
new
they
thing.
created their gods, they were
Yeah,
just
like
like,
Because all of them have like power over something.
All right, switching to the next article, the Titans and the Olympians. Your first question for this one is, what did you notice in that article, top of the first article, what did you notice about the Titans?
They were
They were like,
I know, but like in their story.
If you read Careful Jackson, it's
Oh yeah, I read like 4 sentences in that book too, Jack.
this isn't also
I thought I said 2 chapters.
and they were like,
I thought I read 2 chapters.
All right, second question, how is Mount Olympus different from heaven?
Because it's just where the
they-
it's not.
and apparently they know where it
It was
is.
God.
Oh, but the Olympics was however, it's not easy to say that it's Mount Java.
They have their
It was supposed to be a mountain probably generally identified.
They have their
Greece
feet.
is high as Mount
Even though there was,
Yeah.
because there's
Third and final question, how is Zeus similar to God and how is he different?
similar because he was
He's the main guy. He's the main character.
And also he's thin a lot.
Yeah.
He's very sensitive.
He's a very He's like, I'm gonna go down to Earth.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay,
like God.
yeah, he lived
But like he actually like
he lived in
I beat the game and like
His name, her name is Church.
yeah, but like he had like it's like
You have like multiple wives.
All right, if you're at home, you can pull out the Greek mythology notes that I sent to you by email. If you are in class, you can put those other 2 articles away, and let's look at these. This is the sum of from those articles what you must know for your test. And I want you to start right here. Let's look at the mythology notes. All right, let's start at the top. The mythology of the gods tells us what the early Greeks were like. I just want to pause and say, our mythologies might tell a bunch of aliens what we're like also, right? What do you think they would do if they came and they saw the Disney version of Pocahontas, and then they watched Marvel and Star Wars, and maybe they saw books that are just broadly read, Harry Potter, and then Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? Like, your mythologies, these are our mythologies. The mythologies say something about the kind of people we are and what we value and what we think is heroic and what we think is evil. It all shows in our mythologies. So we can tell about early Greek culture by looking at their mythologies. And it matters to us. This is just a why do we care? It matters to us because we are actually the descendants of the Greeks in 3 ways. We're their descendants intellectually. Think back to Monday's class. Who are the intellectuals we talked about that still influence us to this day? But who are like the people? The philosophers like Socrates, Plato, right, Aristotle. So we're their descendants intellectually, like we still honor and value the things that they taught. We are their descendants artistically. Think about the slide I showed you with the statues on it. We think, like what the Greeks considered to be realistic and beautiful is still the standard of our culture today. The Greeks' impact on us. We still think that it's magnificent when a flat platform, be it a social media platform or an art platform, can create something that looks 3D, that looks realistic. We got that from the Greeks, not the Egyptians, not the Native Americans, not the Mesopotamians. We got it from the Greeks. So we're their descendants artistically, and last, but we're their descendants politically. How are we their descendants politically? What did we get politically from the Greeks? What did we get politically from the Greeks? What idea did we get politically from the Greeks? Nope, that was the Romans. What's the other one? Democracy. We get democracy from the Greeks. So we are their political descendants. The Greeks made the gods in their own image. I'm putting the words up here on the screen that go in your blank as we're talking about it. And that means that even though it is literally the flip opposite of the Christian idea of God, it means something interesting to the Greeks. It meant that the idea of the gods was familiar to them. And the idea of heaven, it was pleasantly familiar. They created a system of mythology that made them feel familiar, that made them feel comfortable. In fact, that is why, part of why the Greeks even thought it was important to laugh at their own gods. We wouldn't do that to God, would we? Can you imagine a Sunday morning church service where you get together and the preacher starts telling jokes about God and everybody takes a good laugh at God? Like, ha ha, can you believe that? That's ridiculous. That's not part of how we would treat God. We see him with a sense of distance and respect. And even when he's near us the way a mother is near you. You know, if your mother is caring for you when something is going wrong, you don't laugh at her. You're grateful she's there. So the Greeks were very different. Their connection to their gods was nothing like how we think about God. The Greek mythology instead was human. It was humanized. They were freed from what many other cultures had, a paralyzing fear of the unknown. Think about the way that so many of the other cultures saw, like the weird Egyptian gods with the bird faces. Like, would you ever find that a warm, friendly, like, I must get close to that bird-faced thing? No, I don't think so. Or the Sphinx, just want to crawl up and give it a kiss. I don't think so. I mean, nobody feels that connection, but the Greek mythologies was much more humanized. The men who made up these myths, though, disliked the irrational. They had a love of facts. This is very Greek. Even the most ridiculous stories in Greek mythology take place in a world that is still rational. So let me give you a counterexample. If any of you may have read the Percy Jackson books, some of you may have watched that show, episodes that were out recently. Think about how even though the gods in that show had like supernatural powers, they were still looked like they were like people. They weren't massive, oversized. They were human-ish looking people with superpowers. They were like superhumans. And they had these weaknesses. They were quirky. They were sort of funny. But the world that they lived in was rational. Like, things happened kind of rationally. Counterpoint. Did any of you ever see A Wrinkle in Time? You know what I'm talking about? Read the books or see the movie. Do you remember how The Wrinkle in Time, like, the whole world was like, whoa, like, this is, like, there's completely different rules. And in her book, you're inside of a cell, you know, it's operating these different rules, but still, some mythologies place you in a world where really the laws of physics and rationality are very, very distorted. Not the Greek mythology. It's very rational. Mythology is not the Greek equivalent of the Bible. however. The mythology is not supposed to be read like the Bible. You're not reading it to take it apart, analyze it, and find out ways to improve your life or ways to improve your worship. It is instead the way that the Greeks explained something about. What do you think? It's more specific than life.
Basic instruction for desires.
What did you say?
Desires.
No, even more, it's more basic than that. It's how they explain something about nature. They were using their mythologies as an explanation for nature. All right, at this moment, when you finish writing that, take your pen and I want you to draw a line across the page and split your page in two, because the part we just finished covering is all from the introduction. This next part is from the Titans and the Olympians. Everybody, even sixth graders, needs to know the introduction parts that are here in this notes. But let's go on to the second part. In the second part, we note this. The Titans were supreme in the universe before the Olympians. It was the Titans before the Olympians. Example of the Titans are like Kronos and Atlas. Do you guys know Kronos? Do you know that? Yeah? What about Atlas? Are you familiar with Atlas, the story of Atlas? Who was Atlas, Sadie? Not the sky. He held on his back the world, the entire world. And when it was a punishment. He had to hold the world on his back, so he had to keep everything up in it. That was Atlas. The 12 Olympians lived in Olympus. And of those 12 Olympians, 3 of them were brothers who were kind of the 3 in charge. Do you know who those 3 were? Do you already know the 3? Then who were they?
Poseidon, Hades, and Zeus.
Yeah, Poseidon, Hades, and Zeus, right? So we'll start with the first one. The sea, when they split up the duties, as it were, the sea fell to Poseidon. Sea, as in water. He was the one that controlled water. Hades got what? Yeah, the underworld went to Hades. Now, if you're thinking in your head about all the things that exist, let's say we send the sea, that's Poseidon, underworld, that's Hades. What's left? Not just air, but not just the sky, also the what? Land, yeah, the land. So the rest of the earth fell to Zeus. Zeus became the supreme ruler, and he wielded this awful thunderbolt. It was supposed to be this extremely powerful god, and yet Zeus was not all powerful, and he was not all knowing. So this is where, again, Zeus diverges from what we know of God from the Bible. Zeus was not, and there was no pretense that he was all-powerful or all-knowing. He's also pictured, I think this is the most interesting new thing I learned from this article. He's pictured as having a lot of wives because he's this combination of mythologies that came from a lot of different places, so it's a lot of different ideas of gods. And when all these different people imported the ideas of gods, they kept adding, all these other gods had wives, and so they kept adding it all in together. And so Zeus ended up still being the supreme god, but he had a bunch of wives, all drawn from different sources, different stories.
So it was a combination of many different ideas of wives.
Gods. People added other gods' wives. People saw Zeus as being very high, very mighty, but also just like them. And that, if you watched that same show, you got that idea as well. Please put that handout in a place with the other two things that you're going to be able to find. You'll need to find it for test study. Okay, we're going to spend our last 10 minutes on the note cards that you did. And there are two things that were highlighted in your note cards, both of which are Greek. The first one is a person. Sadie, tell us about this person. Mm-hmm. And father of medicine, because what did he come up with as the what did everybody need to do? Exercise, eat a good diet, sleep. So Hippocrates actually believed the things that to this day we hold as sort of tenets of good health. This is a statue of Hippocrates, and I want you to look at that picture, especially the picture on the right, and notice how Greek the statue is. You see the hair? You see how carved into stone is almost like all these multiple strands of hair? Much like the lady I showed you on Monday with all the folds in her garments. This is a very Greek statue.
Was he the first one to have that haircut? You know, with the hair on the side and the bottom?
So no, this was really typical of Greek men. So part of why I wanted to show you this is because this is a typical Greek statue.
And the beard, does every Greek have the beard?
It was just, it's like when something's a style, it's a style.
Yeah.
I just feel like you've been showing us bearded men for like...
It's a really good thing to notice because when you start talking about different cultures, a lot of times what changes is hair or beards. Facial hair and the way haircuts are part of how you tell different cultures apart. Today, it seems so normal for us to say, oh, you want to be healthy, you got to get fresh air, exercise, drink water, have rest, eat healthy food, get sunshine. But what did they think, Cambria, back in these days? What did they think was the cause of sickness? It's like two cards from now. What do they think they should do if there was sickness? It's not go exercise and eat good food. It's two after that.
Oh, mine's got mixed up. Sorry.
I'm doing them out of order. It's not your
Well,
fault.
they assume that every disease or whatever was related to their gods. Like every disease was related to their gods.
Right. So DJ, if their health was bad, what would they do? How would they address that?
Well, it was like a divine punishment if it was like if they got sick or a disease and actually ended up dying, and if they got healed, like someone had
Please,
cancer,
the gods,
or whatever, and they got healed, it was I think given to their gods.
Yeah. So Hippocrates, we know him for what we call now the Hippocratic Oath, which is something, interestingly, to this day, if you become a doctor, you will read and probably take the Hippocratic Oath at the end of your time, the obligation to care for the sick. It looks like this in Greek, but in an English translation, I'm going to read you just a couple of sentences. This is, by the way, I swear to Apollo physician. So this is the Hippocratic Oath. He says, I will use treatment to help the sick according to my ability and judgment, but never with a view to injury and wrongdoing. Neither, so this is the Hippocratic Oath, neither will I administer a poison to anybody when asked to do so. So that means physicians should not assist other people in suicide. Physician-assisted suicide is against the Hippocratic Oath. Nor will I suggest such a course. Similarly, I will not give to a woman a pessary to cause abortion. So it's against the Hippocratic Oath to give herbs to a woman that would cause her to miscarry a baby, because that's causing harm. But I will keep pure and holy both my life and my art. Yes, DJ.
So do doctors have to memorize all of that?
No, it's this is a 2,400-year-old oath. which today doctors would be like, I mean, it'll just be like a tag on the end of your medical treatment.
I mean, and like, how do they put that on there if it's talking about not to cause abortion?
Oh, well,
How do
they
put
maybe are not exactly reading all of it
that?
because this is not their guiding thing. We abbreviate the Hippocratic Oath today in a very short phrase, and I wonder if any of you know this. I'll show it to you, but I'm wondering if anybody knows the Hippocratic Oath, the short version. Not off the top of your head? Okay, if somebody's going to talk about what the Hippocratic Oath really says, it says this: first, do no harm. The first job of a doctor is to do no harm. That's the Hippocratic Oath.
But how can they say that if it's abortion no cause?
Feel free to take that up with a doctor if you'd like to and ask them that.
That's my doctor.
The doctor might be surprised to know that you read a little bit of the Hippocratic Oath and saw that in there. So, yeah, maybe they'll tell you. I mean, they'll probably tell you, or, this is just things. Okay, we already talked about this. They saw this as a punishment. Let me close with this last one because I wanted to show you a picture. What did the huge statue of Zeus look like?
It was 40 feet high, had jewels and everything.
40 feet high is four stories high in a building. Yes, I'm turning it off, DJ. I'm turning it off. Inlaid with jewels and ivory. It was built on the plain of Olympia. It is not still standing today. So all of these pictures are just ideas or models based off of the writing that we have from the Greeks.
It took them a long time to build that.
It's a very big statue for them to build. When you think about how hard those other statues that I showed you were, this is a huge statue. All right, folks, this is it. Have a lovely day.